flip over to exponents part 2. So we're going to start with number 1 and read the problem. The quantity 5x to the second power to the third power. Now if you forget your properties, you can always write PEMDAS. Kind of remind you how to do your properties. Whenever there's parentheses with the exponents, you multiply. Whenever you multiply powers, you add. Whenever you divide powers, you subtract. Okay? So there's parentheses, a power to a power. With the exponents, you multiply. Now the thing is, we're missing an exponent here. I'm going to go ahead and fill it out. There's a 1 missing here for the exponent of 5. So now that I filled it out, I can multiply. So I'm going to get 5, 1 times 3 is 3, x, 2 times 3 is 6. Okay. Last thing here, 5 to the third power means 5 times 5 is 25 times 5, which is 125. X to the 6. And we're done with number 1. Number 2, and go ahead and copy the problem. X squared divided by y to the negative third power all to the fourth power. Okay, there's parentheses, so with the exponents, I'm going to multiply. So that's going to be x to the 2 times 4 is 8. Y to the negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Then I'm going to look for my negative exponents. I'm going to circle them. So this power has a negative exponent. So since it's on bottom, I'm going to bring it to the top, and the exponent becomes positive. So this is going to be x to the 8, y to the 12. And that's your answer. There's nothing else to do. Number 3, the quantity 4x to the negative third power, y times y, all to the negative third power. Okay, right here there's parentheses, so I gotta multiply my exponents. Since the 4 is missing an exponent, I'm gonna put a 1 here. And since the y is missing an exponent, I'm gonna put a 1 there. Now that I've filled out all my exponents, I can multiply my exponents. So I'm gonna write the base of 4. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. X, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. Y, 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Okay, I'm done multiplying the exponents. So I'm going to look for my negative exponents. The powers with negative exponents, I'm going to circle. So this one has a negative exponent, and this one has a negative exponent. Since these are on the numerator, I'm going to create a denominator and bring these down. So x to the 9th stays on top. 4 to the third goes to the bottom. And y to the third. Now the exponents change to positive signs. Almost done here. The x's I can't do anything, so I'm going to leave alone. The y's I can't do anything. And 4 to the third power, 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. And that's our answer. Okay, moving on to example 4. I'm going to copy the problem. The quantity 4x to the third, negative 3, no. 4x to the third times y, all to the second power, negative 3x to the fifth, y to the third. So I'm going to look for, these have parentheses, there's an exponent outside, so that means I have to multiply my exponents. I'm missing exponents on the 4 and the base of y, so I'm going to put a 1 there for the exponents. I'm going to go ahead and multiply 4 to the second, 3 times 2 is 6, so x to the 6th power. 1 times 2 is 2. Being multiplied with this. These parentheses have no exponents, so I'm just going to bring this stuff down. And it's still being multiplied, so that's why I put a multiply sign. Look for any negative exponents. I don't see any negative exponents. So I'm going to do my numbers first. 4 squared means 4 times 4, so that's 16, times negative 3. So that's going to be negative 48. X squared, x to the 6th power, times x to the 5th power. X to the 6th power times x to the 5th power is x to the 11th, we add. Y squared times y cubed is y to the 5th. And there's nothing else to do with this, so we're good. Example number 5, I'm going to copy up here. The quantity negative 3 x times x to the negative 3rd power times y to the negative 2nd power times w to the 5th divided by 5 x to the negative 2nd power times y times w to the 3rd power all to the negative 2nd power. So I look at these, I look at this problem, and there's a parentheses with an exponent outside, and this parentheses is applying to the whole thing, so I need to multiply this negative 2 with all the exponents here, with all the bases that the powers that have exponents. So right here, this base has no exponent, so I'm going to put a 1 there. The 5 has no exponent right here, it's hidden, so I'm going to put a 1 here, and the y. Now I can multiply all the powers, the exponent times the exponent. So we'll start with the top. Negative 3. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. X, negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. Y, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. W, 5 times negative 2, negative 10. Now I'm going to do the bottom. Copy the base, 5. 1 times negative 2, negative 2. X, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Y, 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. And W, 3 times negative 2, negative 6. Okay, so I got rid of those parentheses. Now I'm going to look for my negative exponents, the powers with negative exponents. I'm going to circle those. So this one has a negative exponent, this power, the W to the negative 10, the 5 to the negative 2, the Y to the negative 2, and the W to the negative 6. Those are all the ones that have negative exponents. So let's be careful. This right here, when we bring it to the bottom, only the exponent changes to a positive, not the base. So right here, it still stays negative 3, and the exponent changes to a positive. Okay, I still have x to the 6th on top, and y to the 4th on top. On the bottom, I still have x to the 4th. So I moved this already. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one here. W to the 10. The exponent becomes positive. I'm going to move the 5 to negative 2. That becomes 5 squared on top. This y to the negative 2 becomes y squared on top. And let's write the w's under the w's, on top of the w's, so that would be w6. Okay, right here, let's do the letters first. These two are on top of each other, so x to the 6th and x to the 4th. Which one has more? The 6th or the 4th? The 6th, right? So x goes on top, and just subtract the exponent, so that'll be x squared. Now, just for understanding, I'll explain this once. X to the 6th means x times x, 6 times. And x to the 4th means x times x, 4 times. Now, if you cross them out, these cross out, and there's only 2 left. That's why there's x squared on top. Okay, so that's just a side note. W's, which one has more? W to the 6 or W to the 10? The one on the bottom has more, so I'm going to put W on bottom. And subtract the exponents. 10 minus 6 is 4. Y to the 4th? Y to the 4th times y squared is y to the 6th. You add the exponents. So we're done with all the letters. Now I'll do the numbers. 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. Negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. Now here's the question. When will this be a positive? When will this be a positive number? When the exponent is even. Okay, like negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, times negative 3 is negative 27, times negative 3 is 81. Okay. When will you have a negative number? When this exponent is odd, like negative 3 to the 3rd power. Negative 3 to the 3rd power is negative 3 times negative 3 3 times. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, times negative 3 is negative 27. So that's our answer. We're done with that. And the last example, 6. I'm going to copy the problem. 8x to the 5th, y, all divided by the quantity 6x squared, y to the negative 3rd, to the 2nd power. Okay, so I look for my parentheses. This one on the bottom has parentheses. I'm going to multiply the exponents. So I'm going to put a 1 here, and I'm going to multiply the exponents just on bottom. So this is going to equal 8x to the 5th, y, so that stays on. That stays the same. I'm going to multiply the exponents. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Circle my negative exponents. That one right there. That one's just going to move to the top. And the exponent is the only thing that changes. It changes to a positive 6. Okay. I'm going to do my letters first. So the x's, since one's on top and one's on bottom, I ask myself which one has more, the top. And I subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. I don't have to write the 1. Y times y to the 6 is y to the 7, because I add. We got 8. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. And last of all, 8 over 36 can reduce by 4. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. 36 divided by 4 is 9. And we copy the rest because that stays the same. So this is Exponents, classwork 401. Thank you for your time.